Imagine a doll so dangerous that even the church ordered it locked behind blessed glass. A doll so feared, it's been called a prison for pure evil. For nearly 50 years, she never moved. Not a blink, not a breath. But in 2025, something changed because that glass case is empty. This is the true story of Annabelle, the doll that may have escaped again. Before Hollywood turned her into a monster, Annabelle was just a gift. In 1970, a mother bought a vintage Raggedy Ann doll for her nursing student daughter in Connecticut. But soon, strange things started to happen. The doll moved. Notes appeared written on parchment paper, the kind they didn't even own. Then came the attacks. Scratches, choking, nightmares. The terrified roommates called Ed and Lorraine Warren, America's most famous paranormal investigators. The Warrens claimed the doll wasn't haunted by a ghost, but by something darker. They sealed it inside a glass case at the Occult Museum in Monroe, Connecticut. And for decades, visitors were told one thing: do not touch the glass. Do not challenge the doll. Fast forward to May 2025. The museum's current director, Tony Spera, had approved a controlled exhibition called the Devil on the Run Tour. Led by paranormal investigator Dan Rivera, the plan was to bring several haunted artifacts to the public. One of them, Annabelle, safely locked in a replica display case. The first few shows went viral. Crowds lined up for hours. Some came to pray, others came to mock. In one live stream, a teenager taps the glass and laughs, greater than, "If you're real, do something." Seconds later, every light in the room goes out. The crowd screams. When the lights return, the doll is tilted, facing the opposite direction. Just days later, tragedy struck. Dan Rivera checked into a hotel in New Orleans. Security cameras showed him entering his room alone. By morning, he was gone. Heart failure, they said. But what investigators found in his room still chills believers. The replica Annabelle case was cracked open, and the doll, missing. Nesper, the organization founded by the Warrens, released a statement saying, "The real Annabelle never left our custody," but they refused to release new photos. And that silence made the internet explode. #Annabelle. Missing began trending. TikTok mediums went live, claiming visions of a woman in white carrying a doll. Reddit threads filled with sightings from across America. Airport cameras, antique stores, even gas stations. Some said the spirit had transferred to a replica. Others claimed it was all marketing. But believers pointed out one thing: every time someone mocked the story, something bad seemed to happen. A month later, I drove to Monroe, Connecticut. The old Warren home still stands, quiet, overgrown, and sealed shut since 2019. Inside, in the basement where hundreds of cursed objects are stored, stood the real Annabelle case, old, dusty, and intact. Behind the glass, the real Raggedy Ann doll sat still. Same faded smile, same dead stare. Tony Spera whispered a prayer and said, "People think she walks. She doesn't. Evil doesn't need legs to move, just believers." Maybe he's right, because what happened next made me question everything. Weeks after Dan Rivera's death, his damaged laptop was recovered. One file remained, a silent night vision clip labeled RE00T.MP4. It shows Dan sitting on his hotel bed whispering, "Greater than, if you're still here, show yourself." A small shadow crosses the frame. Dan turns toward it, and the screen cuts to static. When the image returns, the bedspread is indented, as if something small had been sitting there. Skeptics call it lighting. Believers call it proof. Whatever it was, Dan never pressed stop. So what really happened? Most likely Dan was using a replica box built from old museum wood. Wood that once stood inches away from the real Annabelle case. If curses exist, if objects can absorb energy, then maybe that replica wasn't just a copy, Maybe it was a doorway. And when Dan challenged what he didn't understand, something answered. Today, the Warren Museum remains closed to the public, but locals claim to still hear whispers in the basement. Visitors report headlights flickering near the property. And in 2025, a new note appeared taped to the glass. Do not challenge what you don't understand. No one knows who wrote it. Maybe it was Tony Spera, maybe a caretaker, or maybe, just maybe, the doll wrote it herself. Because here's the thing about Annabelle. She doesn't need to escape to haunt you. All she needs is your attention. And if you've watched this far, maybe she already has it.